Welcome to Means of Grace, a podcast produced by the Western North Carolina Conference of the United Methodist Church.
Welcome to Means of Grace. I'm Luke Edwards, Associate Director of Church Development.
And I'm Melissa McGill, the Director of Communications. In this episode, we are focusing on seasonal ways churches can engage their communities.
In the church, we follow the liturgical calendar that guides our year through the life and teachings of Christ. The communities God has placed us in have liturgical calendars of their own, from back to school to state holidays to annual festivals. These times offer us an opportunity to enter into the life of our communities.
Luke visits the Pumpkin Church, also known as Meijer's Memorial in Gastonia, and I visit a cluster of small churches in Ramseur who organize a back-to-school haircut day.
Let's dive in.
In Ramseur, North Carolina, a team of United Methodist pastors are working together to impact their town. From community meals to a combined Christmas children's program to Vacation Bible School, McCrary Chapel, Rehoboth, Franklinville, and Jordan Memorial United Methodist churches, led by Reverend Sam Moore, Chris West, and Joshua Kurtz, are partners in ministry, and their town of 1,700 people is better for it. One of their biggest events each year is a back-to-school haircut day. Earlier this fall, I took a trip to Ramseur to check it out. Here, Josh and Sam tell us a little bit about how it all got started.
It was all from a vision from Sam Moore, my friend and colleague just down the road at McCrary's Chapel, United Methodist. We had moved to the area at the same time in July 5 years ago, and he had this great idea about providing free haircuts for students. And so we just took it and ran with it together, and through collaboration and partnership, this is our 5th year of Free Haircut Day on Main Street. And so it's grown from over 50 haircuts to I don't know how many we've done today, but a lot more. And the whole Main Street is filled with nonprofits and churches and bounce houses and food and fun. It's been a great experience.
Well, felt like need to be a blessing to people, and going back to school can be a challenging time, needing school supplies. Even haircuts can be expensive, so this being a blessing where there's a need.
Yeah.
And just thank God for Pastor Kurtz. A lot of groundwork, a lot of networking, and this event, 5th year, has been a blessing. The whole community coming together, shutting down downtown Ramseur. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
And hot dogs, snow cones, music, bounce houses. It's just great to have so many churches come together to be united for a good cause.
How many people would you estimate came out today?
We had at least 1,500, I would say, that came out. So it continues to grow each year, but I don't know how the numbers are for sure, but that's a guesstimate. At least 20 plus churches that are a part of this. So it's not just United Methodist, all kinds of nonprofits, community members that are a part of the day as well. Yeah.
So what did the event start like in your first year? How is it different?
Main Street was not full. It was definitely not full. It was a small kind of hub at the top of the hill by the church. And so we've just kind of expanded all the way down to where there are multiple opportunities for families and for kids to connect, not just today, but beyond today. So we wanted to really give a sampling of the beauty of Randolph County and what Randolph County has to offer for people, especially for kids and families.
The churches started with haircuts, but the day has grown to include other back-to-school supplies as well. Hundreds of book bags filled with paper and pencils line the pews of Jordan Memorial. Donna Roberts, who is a member of Jordan Memorial, helped children find a book bag.
Today, this is called Free Haircut Day, and that is the main theme, so that children in school can line up and get free haircut. But in addition to that, we have the next biggest item, I suppose, is free book bag, which they're stuffed with all kind of school supplies. And the whole procedure, they come through over that side and they sign in with just the name of their school. We just kind of like to see the demographics of the whole community. We have people coming from Randleman and Asheboro and a lot of different places. This morning, all these pews here and on that side were cram-packed full. These were all full on this side, all packed. And we had quite a variety of colors. What we do after they sign in, the elementary students, we have the book bag choices up against the wall, so they'll point to their color, and then we have runners to go get the color, give to them. And then the high school, middle school, over here on the other side, they're a little larger, have the college ruled line paper, and a few little different kinds of coupons that are a little more mature for them, and they are bigger. So we have high school, middle school, and elementary school, and preschool. And the families who come through here, it's just such an incredible blessing to watch them with their children. And we put the book bags on the little children for them, and they just beam, and everyone's happy. And everyone who comes through is so friendly and appreciative. So that's kind of been the way it's been. We've had 2 workers signing in all morning. They haven't taken any break. And then we've had 4 in here giving out book bags, and we've taken a break each. But it's just been pretty constant. And as you can see, the pews are empty. Our choices are really low. And
How many backpacks have y'all given out today, would you guess?
I think we had 720 to start with, but I might not be right on that. Oh my gosh. We've given out at least 500, I would think. I would think around 500. And that's another reason we have people sign in too, so we can get a count of how many we give out. Because last year it was in the 600s and 700s, I think, and this year is even more so. We have more vendors here at the event this year. And it's not just for children. We have a lot of vendors who, public service people and adults, can get some really good information and free stuff. And we encourage the kids when they come down the street. We tell them first thing, the people out there, we'll tell them to go sign up for a time to get their hair cut. That's the most important thing, because the first year it was just sort of wait in line chaos a little bit. So we're learning every year how to make it go more smoothly. So they'll sign in for a slot, and then we tell them when they do that to come get a book bag. Then they'll have something to put their little free things in as they walk down the street, because they have rulers and glue sticks and pencils and pens and all that at the vendors.
That's so great.
So that's sort of the plan, and everything is free. Everything. Popcorn, cotton candy, hot dogs, drinks, everything's free. Cookies, and let's see. That's about it. As you can see, it has tapered off some by now, but it has been a steady stream of people in here.
Next, I walked down Main Street to find the salon and barber shop where the haircuts were happening. Melissa Perry is also a member of Jordan Memorial and was volunteering checking people in for haircuts.
Sure, we are doing haircuts, girls and boys, K-5 through 12th grade. We have 2 salons actually that are going. We have 5 stylists here, and I think they have 2 or 3 at the other shop too. So we are running through lots of haircuts today. Look at you! I love it!
I told you, she said go big or go home.
That's right. Good job, girl. I love it. I know we've been doing it at least the last 3 or 4 years, so very cool. Had a great turnout this year.
Yeah, what makes you want to be involved in it?
It's just great to see the community come out, people donating their time, people donating their products, so it's just a great event for the day.
Awesome. Do you mind if I go in?
Sure.
Perfect. Thank you.
My hair would be long right now. I'm not lying.
What makes this event so special is that it's not just the churches. The entire community has come around this event to support the kids. Don with the Fit District, Marita with the Ramseur Area Civitans, and Abraham with Randolph Community College all had a presence on Main Street.
My name is Donald Brown. We have the Fit District where we do group classes, a lot of athletic training, boot camps, silver sneakers. And it's not really about the gym. As I always say, it's about empowering the community. It's all about the community to me. And I think if we can get the community involved, that just leads everybody to live a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah, so tell me your name and who you're with.
Marita Wall, and I'm from the Ramseur area civic hands.
So why do you think it's important for the community to come together around events like this?
To help each other and support each other.
So we have a beauty shop and a barber shop in Ramseur on Main Street. Yeah. Hey, Abraham.
Thank you for inviting us. Yeah.
Thank you so much for
We
being
met a lot of people. Yeah. And Jordan is there. Look.
Yeah. Hello. Great to see you again.
Thank you.
See you too. Hi. How are you?
Thanks, Will.
Yeah.
Good event, huh?
Thank you
Yeah.
for having
We
us.
had a lot of people who came for GD and ESOL. And
Good.
that's the whole idea, right?
That's right. Abraham's from Randolph Community College.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. That's awesome.
You have my card, right?
I do. Would you give it to me again, just in case?
Maybe one for you.
Oh, thank you. We'll be back. We're gonna
Together we can do
Thank
more,
you.
you know?
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Pleasure.
Thanks for being
Thank you.
here. Thank you.
Abraham is right. This community is proving that together they can do more, and they're not done yet. Sam and Josh have a vision for continuing to grow this ministry and continuing to meet more needs in the community.
Well, I hope that we can give shoes away, underclothes, continue the haircuts, school supplies, whatever the need is.
Good to see you.
And I feel like, how can we tell people to love God and love our sister and brother if the church is not doing it? So just to have Jordan with McCrary, Franklinville, Rehoboth, and other churches is a blessing. That's what heaven looks like. This is what God is about.
And that day in Ramseur, heaven looked like 741 book bags filled with school supplies, 100 kids with fresh haircuts, and a community coming together.
In my work, I'm always interested in seeing how churches relate to their neighbors. As I drove around the conference this fall, I kept noticing pumpkin patches outside of churches. I decided to visit one of the conference's biggest patches at Meijer's Memorial United Methodist in Gastonia.
So the last Sunday in September has historically been the Sunday that the pumpkins arrive. And I mean, it's Pumpkin Sunday. It's a big deal. Everybody wears their orange t-shirts. Everybody wears their pumpkin shirts or wears some form of orange. And you just feel this excitement in the people. It's kind of like, everybody's getting ready for the big party that's going to happen.
We are working with the little pumpkins because there are several different sizes. And I like being over here because the kids are over here. They're super cute. But we're laying everything out according to what type of pumpkin it is. We have gourds, we have big pumpkins, we have little baby pumpkins, we have white pumpkins. So we're all just making sure everything's where it needs to be.
But we really try and make it to where everybody has a role in unloading the pumpkins and on Pumpkin Sunday. So if you're not able to pass a pumpkin, we need people handing out water. If you're big and strong, we need you at the front getting the huge pumpkins coming off to carry them around. The little kids get the tiny pumpkins and sort those out, and some of our older adults will help with them, just kind of corralling some of the younger children too. But there really is a place for everybody, and it's a great time of fellowship out there unloading this semi. I mean, it's a 18-wheeler full of pumpkins, and it could be miserable work, but it actually, since we all come together, it's a fun day that everybody looks forward to.
It's a way to give back to the community and to the church. It's a way to serve.
How many pumpkins do you think you've unloaded so far?
Seems like a million, right? Who knows?
I'm going to share.
It's a lot.
This is our 40th anniversary of the pumpkin patch, and so in 1979, a group of volunteers, the legend goes, was standing out in our field waiting the pumpkin patch, and I think there were like 5 of them, thinking it was going to be a pickup truck full of pumpkins when a big semi showed up with pumpkins. And apparently there were calls all over the place, before cell phones, so try and track people down at work and at home and wherever they could to come out and help unload this gigantic load of pumpkins that they were going to sell. And so since then, Meijer's has become known as the Pumpkin Church. They've had, it's been eventful. I think they had one year where it rained almost every week. They've had a car drive through the pumpkin patch one time. They've had, but they've sold lots and lots and lots of pumpkins over the years and have impacted the community and brought people in. And so it's been a neat ministry to kind of come in and see how it's been done. And continue the tradition of the Myers Pumpkin Patch.
What I love about it is it's a youth fundraiser, but it's totally embodied by the entire church. I mean, it has to be at some point because the kids are in school for part of the time that it's open, but that people really come together to support the youth in this endeavor. And so it really becomes people getting to know the youth by working together in the patch, getting to know each other by sitting out there, rain, cold, heat. And it's just really neat to see everybody participating in it. I think last year we had a lot of fun just trying to build relationships with folks. We planned a lot of events just to be in the patch, not necessarily just selling pumpkins, but having photography opportunities, having people engaging with people while the kids are smiling and taking the pictures, talking to the parents. We hosted a concert series on Thursday nights, and we'll do that again this year. Just celebrations of being out and enjoying the fall weather, and being friends and family out in the patch.
I'm going. Thank you. Y'all scooch closer.
As I talked to folks from Myers Memorial, I began to realize how integral the pumpkin patch is to their identity in the community.
And then as soon as I started saying, well, you know, it's the church that sells pumpkins, they're like, oh, the pumpkin church. And so it became real clear to me that, like, that's who we are to the community, is the pumpkin church. So over the last 3 years, we've tried to do more to be the pumpkin church and to help people know that it's more than just pumpkins, that there's people that are behind that want to be in ministry.
By embracing their identity as the pumpkin church and building upon it, they built up trust for the congregation so that when someone in the community was ready to join a church, they knew where they would be welcomed.
And we have a family who's just really recently started coming. Well, I guess they started coming in April, but their entryway was the pumpkin patch, and it took them from October to April. But when they were ready to start coming to church, their first thought was, oh, that church that was so nice when we bought pumpkins, let's go check them out. And so I think that this kind of, with especially bringing in people with the events, offers an entryway into the church. And one of our biggest events last year was a story time. And we had, 100
preschool story time at 10 a.m. and we had over 100 people in our patch listening to the librarian read stories. And so that's definitely something we're going to do again this year, and just saying, you know, yeah, get your pumpkins, but hey, we got other stuff that goes on too, and try not try to inundate people with stuff and events and that kind of stuff, but engaging people in personalities and conversations and making friends.
Something that particularly captivated me about Myers Memorial is how the pumpkin patch became a research and development department of the church, leading to a yearly listening process in the community.
Well, and I think that as you get to know your neighbors, then you figure out what their needs are, or what how you can relate to them. So this year, we've forever sort of had a Wednesday evening, like 30 years, right? Wednesday evening meal. And we're going to try it at lunchtime this year instead of a dinner time meal, to try to meet the needs of our neighbors who work around us. And we sort of did a soft operation of that last year during pumpkin season. We invited our neighbors to come and have chili and soup with us, and we had, you know, business people come share their lunchtime. So the hope is they'll do that again this year every Wednesday.
And I think we have a unique offering in a neighborhood that has 15 to 20 restaurants, most of them drive-through. We offer drive-through, but we also offer more home-cooked kind of meals. So, and then we'll offer communion and prayer if that's something they want to participate in. But again, meeting the needs of a 9 to 5 neighborhood, we need to be 9 to 5 too.
Well, we did prayer walks, and we walked our neighborhood and just kind of observed and who was there, what was there, and we did them in the evening at like 6 o'clock, and most of the businesses were closed. There wasn't anybody, and so we left a lot of notes that we walked by and prayed for them. And I don't know, I think it was kind of just, that was sort of eye-opening to all of us. And honestly, there really isn't a residential area near here. I mean, I guess a little bit, but it's not like a significant neighborhood that people would walk to us or come to us.
And one of the things that we've done the last couple of years that Sarah's initiated is that we take pumpkins to our neighbors just to remind them that, hey, we're here, we're the Pumpkin Church, and we want to be a good neighbor, so here's a pumpkin. So that's been a great way to kind of bridge the gap too, especially using our pumpkins.
And it's really helped folks get comfortable. Pumpkin season's easy to take something. When you have something to take to somebody, it's easier to take a gift. And so then just building those relationships. And so now when we want to invite folks to lunch, they're like, oh, I can go over there and I'll take this neighbor. And they're getting to know like the parking lots and what businesses are in those parking lots and where they're comfortable, because we have all this construction happening on the highway. Where is it safe to walk to and where do I need to drive to? And so really transitioning what our neighborhood's like and getting in it. On Thursday nights in October, except for Halloween, we'll have a concert in the Patch, and it's just having local musicians, church musicians, to come and play. On the 6th, we're going to have a big push for anybody in the community that's ever bought a pumpkin patch, come have a picnic on the grounds. We're going to have food trucks. That's become more of a thing here in Gaston County now. And as well as we have the drive-thrus that you can go get, if you like Jackson's, which is a down-home cafeteria style, grab it and come back and have a picnic on the grounds. And we'll have live music and just celebrating being the Pumpkin Church. We'll have story time. I'm working with some homeschool groups about doing some specific, like whether there's some STEM activities we can do with pumpkins that would help with their education stuff. We have some families with homeschoolers, so how can we be the church for them as well?
Do worship in the Patch.
We'll do a Wednesday night worship.
Mm-hmm. We have our annual trunk or treat, which so that'll be the end of October.
We usually do the youth usually watch It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown in the Patch at some point during the
and all the adults want to know when it is it too.
Last pumpkin! Many of our churches in the conference have this kind of yearly tradition, whether it's pumpkins, Christmas trees, a children's consignment sale, or a fall or spring bazaar. What I love about Meijers Memorial is their willingness to take this tradition and adapt it to renew the mission of the church and the community. It's not about the money raised, it's about relationships strengthened within the church body, and it's about recommitting to being in relationship with the surrounding community. I wonder what adaptations your church could incorporate to its tradition that could establish deeper connections with the community and build more meaningful relationships between church members.
A lot of pumpkins. It's a lot of pumpkins. Welcome.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Means of Grace. How is your church engaging in its surrounding community? Send us a note at meansofgrace@wnccumc.org. Again, that's meansofgrace@wnccumc.org.
Thank you for listening to Means of Grace, a podcast produced by the Western North Carolina Conference of the United Methodist Church. We hope you've enjoyed listening to these podcasts and use them as a way to stay connected to our community. Remember to subscribe to Means of Grace for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please leave us an honest rating and a review. It helps others find this podcast. Follow the WNCC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at WNCCUMC. That's WNCCUMC. Means of Grace is produced by the Western North Carolina Conference of the United Methodist Church and Gojo Studios.